sounds like a miserable idea. And listen, I don't want to make it sound like I have a problem with Lio or Trish. I think they're both great. But focusing on Trish Stratus from now till SummerSlam, I don't think that's the right way for WWE to attack this creatively. John Cena. John Cena's availability to appear on WWE apparently is still going to be limited after WrestleMania and his match with Austin Theory. Coming out of his return to WWE TV this past Monday on Raw to set up his match for the United States Championship against Austin Theory at WrestleMania, there's been speculation regarding how much John Cena will be available for WWE to use on television. Now, the original belief was that Cena would not appear on TV for most of the build-up for the match due to the filming schedule of his new movie, Ricky Stenicki. On Monday, he poked fun at these reports after finishing the shoot earlier than expected, and the same day, he started filming Grand Theft Lotto. John Cena's going to be a busy Hollywood guy. This week, it was reported that Cena will be available for television over the next several weeks. However, that report has already been debunked, and that has changed yet again. While speaking on the Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer clarified that Cena won't be on every Raw and SmackDown episode leading up to WrestleMania, as the situation is a case of when Cena is able to appear, he will. So Meltzer says, and I quote, that movie was done on March 4th. Ricky Stenicki. But he's got another movie he's starting up on. So his time is still limited. It's not like he's going to be on TV every Monday or every Friday or anything like that when he's free. He's free, and he'll be there. End quote. Does it really matter if John Cena is on TV from this point on until WrestleMania? I mean, I don't even think, after Monday, we don't even need John Cena. I think John Cena did more in 15 minutes with Austin Theory on this past Monday's Raw than most of any of these matches have built. He's done more by himself to build that match on Monday than all the matches outside of the Bloodline stuff, obviously. All those matches on WrestleMania combined. So does he need to be there? No. We got the gist of what he's doing and what he needed to say to Austin Theory on Monday. You know, we did this same thing with Kevin Owens and Stone Cold Steve Austin. We got a video package of Stone Cold Steve Austin accepting Kevin Owens' challenge to be at WrestleMania. They didn't really give you the idea it was a match. Steve Austin cut a promo, a vignette that aired. I'll be at the KO show. I'll be at WrestleMania. We'll figure it out there. They left you with a little tease that it could lead to a fight between the two. Other than that, Kevin Owens built the entire feud himself, coming out on television, talking about Stone Cold Steve Austin. Was it cheesy? Was it lame? That it was one-sided? Kind of. But Kevin Owens is so fucking good at what he does, he made it work. Let's try that with Austin Theory. Austin Theory is a very good promo. He's going to turn into a very, very, very good promo. Great promo when all is said and done. But let's not act like Austin Theory can't carry himself out there, and let's not act like Austin Theory doesn't get magma-level heat when he's out there. People love to boo him. People love to boo him based on who he is, his attitude, the way he speaks to people, the way he looks. He's a great fucking heel. He's the future of the company. So let's give him the ball to run with it when John Cena's not there. We don't need to rely on John Cena. Said everything he needed to on Monday. Now let's give it to Austin Theory to kind of lead into WrestleMania over the next couple of weeks and kind of add on to what Cena did, because he didn't really get much of anything to say on Monday while Cena fucking absolutely cooked him on Raw. I'm okay with that. And if Cena is available after WrestleMania, God bless us. We should be so lucky that John Cena is available to do something on the Raw after Mania or leading into Backlash or maybe show up at SummerSlam. Who knows? Who knows? Last year, John Cena wrestled once all year. If we get John Cena for 2 times, 3 times this year, it's lucky us as a fan base, because when Cena's there, things just kind of feel important. Business picks up when John Cena's there. And I love seeing John Cena on TV because of the level of importance he brings to everything that he does. And outside of Roman Reigns right now, Roman Reigns is getting it. Roman Reigns is a fucking absolute boss. But when John Cena's out there, man, it is unlike anything that WWE has had since he's left. They really haven't recaptured that with anybody. And when Cena's there, man, it is a great thing for us because it's not going to be around that much longer. And John Cena's already stated he doesn't know how much more time he has doing this. So while Cena is there, let's appreciate him a little bit more when we got him. WWE is reportedly meeting with potential buyers after WrestleMania. In 2023, there's been a lot in regards to Vince McMahon that's already come out, and it's not even April yet. We've been through 3 months of this year, and there's been revolving stories about Vince McMahon, the return of Vince McMahon, and things that have happened with him taking back control, using the company for leverage to get back into power, and now the sale of the company where Nick Khan is stating that it could take anywhere from 3 to 4 months to sell the company. We have WWE finally sitting down with potential buyers to sell the company after WrestleMania. In a recent CNBC article focusing on WWE's attempt to legalize betting on their matches, which we talked about on Thursday's podcast, it was noted by 2 sources that the company was looking to meet with potential buyers in April in what was described as first-round bids. However, it was also stated that WWE is giving no assurances that a sale will happen, potentially landing WWE in a situation where it remains under its current ownership structure. This is not altogether surprising, as WWE itself has claimed that a sale isn't definite. The information, however, is contradictory to some reports and statements, including some that have been made by WWE CEO Nick Khan. In a January interview with CNBC, Khan stated that he expected the sale process to be quick, even suggesting that it could be complete by April, whereas this new report suggests that will not be the case. The new information also comes at a time when WWE appears to be losing potential bidders instead of gaining them, with Endeavor notably suggesting it will not be in the running to buy WWE. Endeavor owns UFC. And they said, and the CEO of Endeavor came out and said that they don't want to add any more debt on top of what they already have. Some people have speculated that the lack of bidders is due to the potentially high price tag, which McMahon reportedly set at $9 billion.
There's no I in team, but there is one in Indeed, and that's the hiring platform that you need to build yours. When you're hiring, you need Indeed. Instead of spending hours on multiple job sites searching for candidates with the right skills, Indeed's a powerful hiring platform that can help you do it all. One of the things I love about Indeed is that it makes hiring all in one place so easy because Indeed does the hard work for you. They show you the candidates whose resumes on Indeed fit your description immediately after you post so you can hire faster. Join more than 3 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. Start hiring now with a $75 sponsored job credit to upgrade your job post at Indeed.com/BlueWireSports. Offer good for a limited time. Claim your $75 credit now at Indeed.com/BlueWireSports. That's Indeed.com/BlueWireSports. And support the show by saying that you heard it on this podcast. Indeed.com/BlueWireSports. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed.
I have been telling you guys that, listen, if there's one thing I can teach you this year, it's this. And I've said this in every single instance when I talked about Vince McMahon. It is not about the sale of the company. It's not. It's not. Do you want to know what I genuinely feel inside my fucking soul about this? I feel like WWE has already been sold. I do. I think WWE hired Goldman Sachs. What the fuck they hired? They hired somebody for their financial reports to get their ducks in a row, right? They hired a bunch of financial people to help sell the company. And they are already in a situation where I feel like the company's been sold. Legitimately everybody came out and said that the company was sold to the Saudis. Then that rumor was dead, and that rumor died down. People still, some of the people that reported it as exclusive are still backing their reports that WWE was sold and has been sold, and they're just waiting to announce it, sold to the Saudis. There's a reason why there's a reason why Vince McMahon put the price tag so high at $9 billion. WWE is putting the price tag at $9 billion because I genuinely feel like the company's already been fucking sold to the Saudis. And nothing's official yet, but I feel like WWE's eventually going to sell to the fucking Saudis. They know they're going to sell to the Saudis. They have a fucking deal in place in some which way to sell to the Saudis. And right now they're just biding their fucking time so that it lines up with where Nick Khan said it will be in April. And here we are with this report leading to April. They're going to hear bids from people. How many people are actually going to bid on WWE at $9 billion?
Miss, get out of the motherfucking way.
It's almost as if WWE is saying, yeah, well, we don't really want anybody to come close to what the company's actually worth. We want to sell it for $9 billion, and the only fucking people that can do that are the Saudis, which are probably going to offer more than $9 billion. They're going to offer more than what Vince McMahon is asking for. Nick Khan is a bullshit artist. WWE loves to throw the truth at you in plain sight, man. You just gotta look for it. Nick Khan stating things about Vince McMahon on these various reports and interviews that he's been on. The latest was WWE releasing movie-like posters with all of the superstars that are competing at WrestleMania with the headline directed by Vince McMahon, only to fucking change it when the fans had a fucking heart attack. See Vince McMahon's name on there, and then they pieced the fucking puzzle together. Well, I thought he was back to sell the fucking company. He wasn't directing WrestleMania. No, bitch. Directing WrestleMania, as you can see by watching the fucking show. That Vince McMahon is still in charge. Triple H is only a puppet. Triple H is only there because they need a fall guy. And what does Vince McMahon do better than anybody hire? Fall guys. It's not about the sale of the fucking company. It's not. If WWE doesn't have anybody to buy the company, this is all about Vince McMahon regaining ultimate power. He changed bylaws. He blew up the board of directors. He told the fucking shareholders, fuck off. He wants nothing to do with them. He wants nothing to do with anybody. Vince set the price tag at $9 billion because it's not about the sale of the company. For all we know, Vince doesn't want to sell the company. Why would he want to? I've asked this question multiple times. Why does anybody need to sell the company now when they're doing hand over fist more money than they've ever done before? Record ratings already, record revenue sales-wise, record live gates. There's more interest in the product now than there has been in the last 10 years. Is there really a need to sell the company? No, it's not about the sale of the company. Line up the dots. Connect the puzzle. Things that have happened from January till now lead you to one thing. It is not about this selling the company. Stephanie said, fuck off. I'm out. Why? Why did she get up and quit the company? Because she knew exactly what was coming. It's not about the sale of the company. They can line up whoever the fuck they want. All of the rumored names are not going to be in contention to buy the company. Endeavor's out. Comcast said no. They got some deal where they're trying to merge Warner Discovery. Disney's not buying the company. They got their own fucking problems. Netflix is not buying the company. Amazon got their own problems. They ain't buying the fucking company. Fox. Who's left? Tony Khan? Tony Khan is not going to have enough liquid assets to buy the company and maintain the company. Vince is asking for $9 billion. How much is the Khan family worth? About that. They'd be in debt. Shad Khan will be in debt for Tony's fetish for pro wrestling. That's not going to happen. The only bidder left is the Saudis. And who the fuck knows if there isn't a bid in place already and they're just waiting till after WrestleMania to announce this mega news. But don't you think, and And listen, this rumor was debunked back when it happened, and everybody had a fucking stroke online. Don't you think that people putting that news out the way that they did, don't you think that there's smoke to the fire in regards to that? Does nobody believe that it's actually a feasible thing for Vince McMahon to sell to the Saudis? I think it would be a terrible idea. Nobody wants to be in bed with WWE if they sold to the Saudis. I don't think anybody wants to be in bed with Vince McMahon leading the negotiations. For all we know, Vince may be a deterrent for people not wanting to bid on the fucking company. He may actually be having a negative effect, a negative impact on WWE selling the company with him just being there. Knowing what people know about him now and the way he's handled business, I don't know who the fuck would want to do business with him. I know I wouldn't. And if I'm bidding on the company and I'm placing a bid to buy the company, my first order of business is, well, I want to buy this company and you're the fuck out of here. I don't need you. It's not about the sale of the company. It never was. It never was. It never will be.
Oh, man.
We'll see what happens.
Oh, come on.
Certainly lines up with what Nick Khan said, and what a perfect place to do it. WWE is going to be lining up bidders after WrestleMania. Where is WWE going after WrestleMania? They're holding King of the Ring in Saudi Arabia. Sounds like a great fucking place to announce the sale of the company. It's not about the sale, man. It's not. Never was. Speaking of international, another major international show for WWE is in the works. One of WWE's major focuses, and I love this, is to expand the company worldwide with more international shows. A new report suggests that there's traction on WWE's behalf for adding yet another international pay-per-view event sometime in the near future. In the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer reported that WWE is in negotiations with the Western Australia state government in hopes of setting up what Meltzer described as a major stadium show. Meltzer added in his report that he believes the city of Perth would be the likely location of a show, given that UFC 284 was just held there last month at the RAC.
Oh, you bitch, I'm trying to get it there.
14,000 fans attended that event, on par with the crowds at WWE's premium live events within the United States. WWE held its first PLE event in Australia back in 2018 when it hosted the Super Showdown show at the Melbourne Cricket Ground, which was headlined by The Undertaker versus Triple H. Oh my goodness. Man, that seems like it was fucking forever ago, now that I just read that. Last December, WWE chairwoman, former WWE chairwoman, I should add, she quit the company. Stephanie McMahon revealed that the company's new streaming deal with Australia's Foxtel Group would include the major live event in the country.
Oh shit, I didn't know he was on my fucking
stadium events. International is a focus for us, she said. In recent years, WWE's made a major push to book large-scale live events globally. Most notably, WWE obviously holds their Crown Jewel pay-per-views and others in Saudi Arabia, and that's been since 2018. WWE did Clash of the Castle in Cardiff, Wales this past September. Tremendous show. And WWE just announced, though it's not international, WWE just announced that it is booking a Backlash pay-per-view or premium live event in San Juan, Puerto Rico, which will be hosted by Bad Bunny. And that's the first time WWE is going to be in Puerto Rico since 2005, New Year's Revolution. And it's going to be crazy, man. It's going to be crazy in San Juan. I love this. I think this is great. I think I'd love to see this more. Not only from WWE, I love to see this from AEW as well. I love when, because the energy, to me, when you watch these shows, because, I mean, none of us are going to really travel. You may be from Australia, you're not listening to this, I don't know. But none of us here in the States are going to travel to Australia to go watch a premium live event in person. But to me, when I'm watching these shows from home, the energy is the most important thing to me, man. When the fans give me energy, the way that they do on these international shows, it makes the shows that much more enjoyable, that much more memorable, and that much more exciting to watch. I love what WWE's done. Because this is something, you know, and a lot of people, they still claim, well, what has Triple H done to change the show? What has Triple H done to change what he did for Vince McMahon? And we don't know how much in charge Triple H really is. Well, we don't know. We don't know how much say he has. We don't know how much Vince McMahon is giving him to run. But he is the guy. We are under the belief that he's the guy, he's the figurehead, he's the guy that we hear from when it comes to this type of shit. Because he's been asked about this at several media scrums already. With Triple H, you know, you're already seeing change just in this. How many times have we read reports where Vince never wanted to hear any discussions about holding WrestleMania over in the United Kingdom or holding a major pay-per-view over in the United Kingdom? He always felt like that pay-per-view primetime spot of 8 p.m. was huge for WWE. It's gotta be, you know, the traditional pay-per-view time slot, 8 p.m., Saturday or Sunday. We can't go overseas. The time zone difference. They use the time zone difference as a crutch, as an excuse. Nah, we can't do it. No, nobody wants to do that. It's not in our best interest. Meanwhile, Triple H has done it. How many people watched Clash of the Castle and cared about what fucking time it aired on pay-per-view? WWE's got a streaming service with Peacock. They got a streaming deal with Peacock. Who the fuck cares what time it airs? You watch it at 3 p.m. like I do. I go live. I talk about it. You don't watch it. You watch it when you watch it. Who gives a fuck? You're not paying $70 for this fucking shit anymore. Who gives a shit? But Vince McMahon never wanted to hear it. I love it. I think it's great. It gives the WWE an opportunity. How many times they've never visited
You ain't paying no attention to that motherfucker.
for a major televised show?
Didn't pay attention.
2023. 5 years. They haven't been there in 5 years. Imagine they go sometime this year, at the end of the year, sometime in 2024. Great. And the best thing of all, because I know people are still asking for it, this is eventually going to open the doorways for WWE to possibly put a bid for a city, or have that city, whoever the city is, to place a bid on WWE to host WrestleMania overseas. This is going to open the door for WWE to take WrestleMania overseas. Wouldn't that be a big fucking deal? For 2 nights? Imagine WrestleMania in the United Kingdom for 2 nights. I would absolutely love that. This is one of WWE's best moves that they've done, which is open up the gates, open up the doors for more international shows to happen in their pay-per-view calendar. The Undertaker. We mentioned The Undertaker during the Super Showdown show back in 2018 when he wrestled in the main event with Triple H. The Undertaker was interviewed by Ariel Helwani. What? Ariel Helwani. Undertaker finally opens up to Ariel Helwani about his WrestleMania streak being broken. I have always been under the impression that the Undertaker streak should have never been broken. Never. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I feel like the Undertaker streak should have never been. Undertaker revealed to Ariel Helwani that there were 2 other names that were considered to break his undefeated WrestleMania streak. This is what he said to Ariel Helwani. By the time we got to WrestleMania, we pretty much knew what was going to go down. But there were a few people, I guess, that he wanted to have break the streak. Vladimir Kozlov was one of the names. It was early on. And Vince wanted Edge to break the streak, but Edge said no and refused. He said, no, I can't do it. That's how much he respected the streak and me and what the streak meant to the business. I didn't know that at that time. I didn't know that until years after. That says a lot about the human being that Edge is. Then he was asked if Brock Lesnar should have said no to ending the streak. Now, a lot of people were probably thinking the same thing. Maybe Brock Lesnar should have had a little bit more respect for The Undertaker and said no to breaking the streak. What if Lesnar said no? What if Lesnar was not in that match at WrestleMania 30 in New Orleans? What if it was somebody else? The Undertaker wouldn't have had a concussion. The Undertaker would have actually had a WrestleMania match worthy of being a WrestleMania match. The match wouldn't have fell flat. And the ending, the way that it happened with Brock Lesnar, would not be a talking point right now.
Damn, I couldn't lift his ass. I couldn't hit him.
The basis of why people feel like
Couldn't hit his ass.
ruined. But you can't help getting in there as a performer what's going to happen to you. You can't blame that on The Undertaker. You can't blame that on Brock Lesnar. Shit happens. It was just the way things fell that night. You can't blame it on either one of those guys. But imagine Brock Lesnar wasn't in the ring with The Undertaker. How much different things would be now in 2023 looking back at it. The streak may still be alive. The streak would never have been broken, possibly. It's hard to say in regards to Brock. I don't think Brock needed it. Brock never needed it. I don't know why anybody thought Brock Lesnar needed the streak. Fans around the world leading up to it were so enamored by the streak because it was used as not only a WrestleMania driving force, giving WrestleMania a marquee match outside of the main event of WrestleMania. It made WrestleMania mean something on top of what WrestleMania means to everybody as the biggest show of the year. It created a spectacle within the spectacle. It created something that could be used as a vehicle to get new talent over, new faces in there at that primetime slot against The Undertaker. It was almost as if it was bigger than the championship. That's the whole aura of the streak. Did Brock need that? No, Brock never needed it. Brock was an attraction outside the streak. Brock was an attraction without the streak. Still is an attraction. Does anybody talk about the streak and Brock Lesnar breaking the streak now? No. Because Brock Lesnar has gone on to do things and continue to do things and get in there in primetime spots and wrestle major names. And him having a streak, it's almost as if it means really nothing to him. It's never talked about. It's never boasted about. What it did for Brock Lesnar was nothing. What it could have done for a Bray Wyatt or somebody else that was just CM Punk and Edge could have meant the world to them at that time. But no, WWE had to give it to Brock Lesnar. There's a reason why they gave it to Brock Lesnar. Not only the relationship that Undertaker and Brock Lesnar have outside of the WWE as friends. The WWE looked at the streak as, well, if we're going to give it to Brock, it's legitimate enough to put it on Brock and everybody's going to believe it. But The Undertaker was deteriorating at that time anyway. It wouldn't be that far-fetched for somebody to beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania. Why did it have to be, oh my God, it's Lesnar, the MMA guy. He's Brock Lesnar. It didn't need to be that. I would have believed Punk beating The Undertaker. What difference does it fuck? I would have believed Bray Wyatt beating The Undertaker. Who gives a fuck? I don't know that it enhanced him anymore, says The Undertaker. I think it would have been great for Roman if Brock hadn't already done it. Now, it wouldn't have worked. It wouldn't have worked with Roman. It would not have worked with Roman at all. Because you would be in a situation where if The Undertaker was undefeated by the time he wrestled Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 33, he would have been absolutely eaten alive by the fan base. You had Roman Reigns in that moment as the guy that the fans looked down upon so much that they were sick of him to a point where I can't watch this fucking show. They were spoon-feeding him so much down people's throats that if Roman Reigns beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania 33, it would have been a fucking absolute failure in every which way. You would have automatically had to turn him heel at that point. Do you guys remember the reaction he got on the Monday Night Raw following WrestleMania 33? It was one of the greatest reactions that I've ever seen in any WWE element setting, period. I go back and watch that shit. One of my favorite Monday Night Raw moments ever was that great. Roman said nothing.
Ah, you ran right into the
Roman
bitch.
literally said not a single word for 8 minutes, and you heard every single wrestling chant that there ever was, that ever existed.
Ran right into the motherfucker.
If you are a video game developer and you need wrestling chants, go and listen to that segment. Every single thing you need for your video game soundtrack-wise is in that segment. Absolutely incredible. You would have automatically had you would have had no choice but to turn the heel after that. If he did beat the Undertaker for the streak. It's hard to say. Brock didn't need it. I don't know if it enhanced him anymore. It would have been great for Roman. It would have been a huge thing for Roman. I don't know that it meant the same to Brock as it would have meant to Roman or anybody else who would have done it because Brock had already been there. Brock had already gone off to the UFC. He already had all these major accomplishments. I think it could have helped somebody else. Vince McMahon wanted the streak over because that was the first year where WWE finally said, you know what, we got the WWE Network up and running. We need to give people a reason to sign up to the WWE Network. WWE, this is what I believe. You guys can sit there and believe me and what I say here about this or not. You may have your own take on it. I think WWE used the stream as a vehicle for shock and awe to sell network subscriptions to the WWE Network that just launched that. That's what I believe. Oh, you gotta sign up for the WWE Network to watch all of our major shows, including WrestleMania. If you don't, there you go, you're gonna miss out on history-making moments like this. Was it history-making? Sure. Was it the right guy? No. Did it need to end? No. WWE hasn't had anything like that happen and will never have anything like that happen at WrestleMania again, ever. It should not have went to Brock Lesnar. If there was one man that should have ended the streak, if there was one story that should have ended the streak, if there was one moment in which the streak should have ended, it should have been at WrestleMania 25. It should have been Shawn Michaels, Light versus Dark. That match, that Undertaker losing to Shawn Michaels in that match, in that element, with that crowd, that should have been the end of the streak. If the streak went over in that match, if Michaels beat the Undertaker in that match for the streak, I don't think anybody, there'd be not a single fucking soul that has a problem with the Undertaker streak ending on that night. Do you want to know why they have a problem with it ending to Brock Lesnar? Because he didn't deserve it. He didn't deserve it. The match sucked. He got a concussion. The match was so terrible, and the only thing that people remember is what happened during the match with the Undertaker getting concussed and then being hit 1, 2, 3 after 3, sloppy looking at 5 because the Undertaker was already out of that. And that kid's reaction, that that shock fucking fan that they got viral images of for years and years and years. Shawn Michaels. Is he the youngster that everybody thinks should have ended the streak? No. But I'm talking about the match itself. Did Bray Wyatt deserve the streak? Looking back at it, Bray Wyatt won. If Bray Wyatt beat Undertaker for the streak and he got fired, what good would it have done? How would that have enhanced Bray Wyatt? You gotta look at what happened in the lineage. If Bray Wyatt beat the Undertaker for the streak and then he got fired, what good was the streak? What good was the streak? That would have ultimately fired the guy that beat the Undertaker, and then that would have rendered the streak meaningless. CM Punk, they fired him too. Who else was there? In the lineage of guys that wrestled the Undertaker, I wrestled Batista. That was a great match. I didn't want Batista to beat the Undertaker the streak. Triple H, Randy Orton. Randy Orton could have ended it, but the streak took on a life of its own after that WrestleMania match with Randy. Randy Orton was never going to get Who else? Who else was going to wrestle the Undertaker for the streak and beat him? John Cena could have been one. John Cena versus the Undertaker realistically should have happened at WrestleMania 30. That was the moment for that match to happen, and WWE dropped the ball. That's when that should happen. I'm not saying John Cena should have beat the Undertaker for the streak, but I'm saying that John Cena versus the Undertaker would have been one of those matches where you would have been pissing your fucking pants that the WWE was legitimately going to give it to John Cena, because at that point Cena was still very much in. And he just brings that level of unpredictability to a match. Like, oh my god, they're going to really give it to John Cena. But after everything that we just talked about, there was no perfect, looking back at it, there's no better setting than Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 25. Not one. The next one after that would have been Shawn Michaels being the special guest referee in that Hell in a Cell match with The Undertaker and Triple H. That was the only other time I would have accepted the Shriek ending at WrestleMania, just because Shawn Michaels wasn't involved in that match, and we know what it meant to him. He wrestled The Undertaker 25, lost. Put his career on the line at 26, lost, and then goes into a Hell in a Cell match, appointed the special guest referee. It was a story that you couldn't fucking write any better. That was the only other time I would have loved the Shriek to be broken, right there. But even that, and how great that match was Shawn Michaels in that super kick, trying to end it for his best friend because he couldn't do it. I mean, the Shriek should have never ended. Looking back at it, the Shriek should have never. If they went with that Lesnar, you should have just preserved it at that point. There was no point at all. No point. So The Undertaker actually opened up about that. I didn't know Vladimir Kozlov was somebody that he had brought to Vince McMahon's desk as, yeah, I want Kozlov, maybe him. Vladimir Kozlov? Was he even in the company at the fucking time? Undertaker also continued to explain that the day of WrestleMania 30, he was told that he was still going over. When I got there that day, I was still going over. It was early in the afternoon. I remember sitting in the dressing room and came in. And as soon as he came in, I knew what it was. He changed the...
Oh, yeah, it's a fucking
I
tank.
gave him my spiel and what I thought. It wasn't no for the sake of not wanting to do the job. It was no in the sense that I didn't feel Brock needed it. Vince's counter was, if not Brock, then who beats you? Then he goes on to say Vince can sell ice to an Eskimo. But that doesn't mean Vince McMahon's always right. I brought up as many points as I thought, like long-term looking down the road. Vince, his deal too is who down the road? At that point, I'm year to year. I don't know when I'm going to pull the trigger and say enough's enough. So I think he wanted to make sure he got that. I don't think he ever envisioned that character riding off into the sunset with a perfect record. Vince McMahon used the Shriek as a catalyst to sell WWE Network subscriptions. That's where it boils down to. Because if The Undertaker went into that locker room the day of going over Lesnar, something changed. Something changed. Something went off in Vince's mind in that 11th hour that they needed to do something big. And that's the only thing I could really conjure up. Why would you change the finish on something that's been so dead set for the last 20 years? Taker said this. He concluded on reflecting if he believed that he should have ever called it a career undefeated at WrestleMania, saying this. I don't know when I'm going to call it a day, but if I was going to do it, I wanted to do it for somebody, like I said. It would be very impactful for that person's career. Selfishly, I mean, that would have been great to walk off being undefeated, but that's not how the business goes. There's a lot of people through the years that laid down for me and helped build me and the mystique of my character. So it's only natural and only right to pay it forward. The business itself is bigger than one character. Brock was worthy of it. He was a huge draw at this point, so I don't think that it helped him the way it would have helped, say, Roman Reigns at the time. He also talked about an argument that he got into with Vince McMahon.
Oh, bitch, come on, I should pull my gun up.
About to go on social media and claim he retired. He says this in regards to Vince McMahon and the conversation that we had the day he retired. He called me the day before he announced it, and we got into an argument because I thought he was ribbing me. I said, there's no way. There is absolutely no way you're stepping away. He was like, no, this is what I'm going to do. I'm like, why are you fucking with me? This is me. We ended up going at it a little bit. Finally, I was like, all right, okay. Sure enough, the next day Vince resigned, quote unquote. But I knew there's no way he'd stay away. Even in this role, I think it's going to be challenging for him. I mean, that's his baby, man. He's the one that created this whole thing. I know he wants to make sure these TV deals and everything are done the right way. Right now, that's his sole motivation, but that's Vince McMahon. I don't know. We'll see where it goes, but a WWE without Vince, for me, it's hard to imagine. A WWE without Vince McMahon, for me, is very easy to imagine. Vince and Undertaker are like this. So you're never going to hear a bad thing out of the Undertaker's mouth when it comes to Vince McMahon. He believes his sole motivation is to sell the company. I believe his sole motivation is not to sell the company. And
come on! Get the fuck out of here!
He's going to sell it to.
Son of a bitch, come on, man. What the kind of armor you got on? I couldn't have missed that shit.
Talked about this for months.
Fuck out of here.
You're not going to hear any other narrative from Mark Calaway.
Nowhere in the world I could have missed that motherfucker at 5 meters. Fuck going on?
Brothers Discovery rumored to have finalized a
Listen at 5 meters.
Show for all Elite Wrestling.
No motherfucking knees and shit, man.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't like the thought of that. I don't like the sound of that. There is a positive that comes out of it. There is a huge positive that comes out of finalizing a third television show. You know, if you go browse and peruse on social media, you will see the narrative of AEW.
He missed.
AEW is about to go under. AEW is dead. AEW is about to get canceled off of Warner Brothers Discovery. You go on social media and you look at these fucking slobbery, fat, neck-beard virgins who do nothing but jerk off to anime all day long. They're anime porn all day long. And watch pro wrestling that don't do anything for this generation. They don't bring in any money. They don't have any fucking kids. They don't have any sole purpose in life but to hate on people and hate on AEW on Twitter. If you go on Twitter, these are the people that are claiming AEW should be canceled. Apparently, AEW is not canceled because Warner Brothers Discovery is finalizing yet another hour of television for Tony Khan. They are anything but dead. That's number one. Number two, this is coming from Andrew Zarian and the Madman Podcast. According to Zarian, All Elite Wrestling and Warner Brothers Discovery are closing in on a deal to add a third AEW wrestling show. It's going to be similar to Friday's Rampage. That's the problem right there. You're asking me, well, JD, why don't you want more hours of television? That's the problem right there. Similar to Friday's Rampage. If we need to do anything, we need to move away from it being similar to AEW Rampage with a 1 hour runtime.
Yeah, somebody got that mix.
Zarian didn't know when the Untitled show was going to be announced, but he noted that fans should expect the news to come within the next month. This is from Fightful. They say, and I quote, Andrew Zarian of Madman Radio reported that AEW will be getting another hour of television on Saturdays. Top talent haven't been briefed on this, if this is the case. But the popular rumor, while unconfirmed, is that they will end up with the 6 p.m. time slot, or 6:05 time slot, which was used by WCW Saturday night. Now, while it will be the third wrestling show for AEW, it will technically be their fourth show on Warner Brothers Discovery. The third is the promotion's new reality TV series that will be debuting on March 29th called All Access. The reality TV series was first announced on the February 22nd edition of Dynamite, and that will also coincide with a Dynamite before that, which will see the in-ring return of Adam Cole Day. Each All Access episode is going to be following AEW stars on a week-to-week basis. The show will be featuring several AEW talent, including Sammy Guevara, Tay Mello, the Young Bucks, Eddie Kingston, Adam Cole, Britt Baker, Wardlow, Saraya, and Tony Khan is also going to be featured on the show. All Access is the second reality TV series that AEW and Warner Brothers Discovery have done. The first was in 2021 with former AEW stars Cody and Randy Rhodes, called Roads to the Top, Overall, it will be interesting to see when the show will be airing, as well as the name. AEW has trademarked, there was a report going around that AEW has trademarked AEW Collision. Now, that could be the name of the show. It may end up being the name of the show for this Saturday night show. WWE, or not AEW, have also announced the All Elite Women trademark as well. So AEW has trademarked Collision and All Elite Women. Those potentially could be the names of the shows. We could get a WCW-like Saturday night show with Collision. This could be an all-women's show for all we know. We don't know. But those two trademarks right now are in use for AEW, and either one of those names will probably end up being the name, more likely Collision, for this Saturday night show. I don't want to see this happen. I don't. The best case scenario here is that AEW is going to put on another hour of television and get more people on television that haven't been featured on a weekly basis, more opportunities for people to get work in and do that type of thing with this new television show. Fine. They need more hours of television. They're going to get more hours of television because Warner Brothers Discovery believes in the AEW product. And this is obviously going to enhance the contract talks because they're in a contract negotiation here. And with them adding another hour of television, more than likely they are staying on with Warner Brothers Discovery, and they're probably going to be rewarded handsomely with a renewal of their TV rights. This is great. This is great for the company. AEW being around is best for business. AEW being around is great for the wrestling industry. It gives more people an opportunity to find work. We need that alternative to WWE because nobody wants an industry run by WWE only, where they monopolize the entire company or the entire industry, which is being run by one company, and you have no other destinations to really go. AEW seems to be, and I want to use the term, very welcoming. They opened their forbidden door to a lot of different promotions. You see people from New Japan, you see people from DDT, you see people from Stardom, you see people from Impact, and WWE is not like that. They don't play well with others. They are very close-minded. Their doors are locked. AEW is the true alternative to what WWE is, in the sense that they've opened their doors to allow others to come on in and find work. During the pandemic, AEW Dark was the most important wrestling show in the entire industry because AEW had their own foundation. They had their own building in Daly's place to use during the pandemic, which then opened its doors for independent wrestlers to find work on AEW television. Yes, it's YouTube, but they opened their doors to all independent workers who could not wrestle during the pandemic because no indie shows were running. AEW did things for the business that WWE could never. So when people tell me, or when people say on social media, AEW is dead, or AEW is this, or AEW is that, they don't really think about what AEW has done and what AEW meant to the business during the pandemic, and what AEW means to the business in general. So there is positive when it comes to AEW being around. The death of AEW is largely exaggerated on social media. So yes, more opportunities are great. I'm not here to talk about more opportunities. We are well beyond more opportunities. I think we deserve better. Dynamite at 2 hours is largely the best wrestling show during your weeks, whether you want to believe that or not. Dynamite has been absolutely banging for most of this year. There have been some duds. I'm not saying it's been a perfect show, and AEW's not a perfect promotion. Dynamite's not a perfect show by any stretch of the imagination. Yes, they got their problems. There's not really a stance. There's not really a focus on long-term booking and long-term storytelling. AEW does things for the sake of booking matches and nothing more. Things have happened with their mid-card championships, talent not being used, their women's division continues to not really be where it needs to be. There are problems there in AEW, and you would know that if you listened to us on Wednesday. We call all this shit out. It's not about opportunities anymore. It's about making things right, making things feel more organized, and really getting AEW to a point where their weekly television shows flow between one into the next, and then into the next week, into Dynamite, into whatever they gotta do next, with Rampage, and then whatever.
Oh, you fish. Come on. Y'all shot these motherfuckers in the face.
Flow of consistency
That's crazy.
with AEW television, and right now,
I shot him in the
there is no
motherfucking
flow,
head,
there
and
is
this
no
bitch still ain't died.
Whether Tony
That's
Khan wants to
crazy.
admit it or not, whether you are a fan of their product and you want to admit it or not, the only world that exists right now is what happens on Dynamite. Fans have largely tuned out to AEW Rampage. Content creators like myself, and this is a very small bubble, I'm not really using this as an example, but content creators like myself have stopped covering Rampage because of the unimportance the show brings to the overall AEW experience. There's nothing important that happens on that show. There's no major matches that I gotta go out and watch on a weekly basis. I'm not gonna sit down and watch something because it's AEW if there's no importance behind anything happening on the show, and it doesn't really matter for what happens going into Dynamite. And I get a sense that, I could miss Rampage. If I do, I'm not gonna really miss anything on Dynamite and get caught up on Dynamite. I'm not gonna go out there and watch the show. The last time Rampage had anything memorable happen, and I swear on my grandfather's tomb, the last thing anything happened on Rampage that was even close to being important was when Christian Cage beat Kenny Omega for the Impact Championship on the debut episode. That was it. That was the only thing. And CM Punk obviously making his return on the first dance. There's nothing that happened on that show since then that I could sit here and tell you, that was a great Rampage moment. There's been banger matches.
15 kills,
There's been great matches. But what does it mean in the grand scheme of things? It happens on that Friday night, and then it's largely forgotten about. What is adding another hour of television on a Saturday night going into the summer going to do for AEW? Do you know what this is going to do? It's going to open AEW up to more criticism. It's going to open AEW up to being criticized even more so. The ratings aren't going to be where it needs to be. Do you honestly think that Collision, or whatever the fucking show is going to be called, on Saturday during the summer is going to have any ratings increase over what we see on Friday Night with Rampage in the middle of the fucking... Who's what? Seriously, I want you to ask yourselves these questions. Are you going to drop everything you're doing during the summer months on Saturday night at 6 p.m. to stop what you're doing and go watch? I gotta watch AEW Collision. Are you fucking serious?